Hello, 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 you good looking marshmallow. How you guys doing?
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Ah,
Wanted to
beautiful
try a little
marshmallows.
accent on that one.
Would they be marshmallow
Oh,
liquors?
oh, dude, that could be
I would like them.
tasty.
I would like a
Like
marshmallow.
some s'more liqueur, please.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it just
That's what these
rolls
guys
off
are.
the tongue. Welcome back to Come On Over. We are just we're here. We are
Where we
adults
we
and we
exist.
are here.
We
We are
exist
here.
through
We
radio
are
waves or whatever these waves that you're
as
listening
far as we
to me.
know, we exist and we are not in a simulation of any sort.
I think, therefore I am.
Or so I am programmed to say.
Oh
Uh
man.
that's gonna be scary. Like I've actually thought about like not like are we living in a simulation or whatever, blah blah blah. But like the fact that we now have the technology to create simulations like video games, for example,
Hmm.
and starting into the whole AI thing, and and like Chat GPT, Open AI, all that kind of stuff, and how fast that's going to evolve. Like it gets to a point where, like, well, if this keeps going, it and we are able to simulate all that, then how can you truly 100% without a shadow of doubt say that we're not living in one ourselves?
Because
Yes.
I do not ever want to know. Like,
Mm.
here's the thing. Like, if we are in a simulation, like, I'm sure there are people that their lives are being simulated really shitty, you know? But for
Oh yeah.
me, I don't want to know. I will stay in this simulation. Let me just find a couple cheat codes,
Oh
and
yeah,
then we'll
dude.
be
I
okay.
try to hop left to right. I kind of do a little
Hmm.
duck and jump thing all the time. See if I
Yep.
unlock anything. That infinite money cheat
Well, I
or get a
actually
jetpack.
found one cheat code that I thought was going to be really good, and that was just like infinite food. Like I eat
Mm.
all the time, and now I'm just fat and depressed. So that
Yeah,
cheat code kind of
you
blew
gotta
back
work
in
on
my
them
face.
stats. You know,
Gotta work on my constitution there. Yep.
yeah, your agility and yeah.
Oh
I
God.
think it'll be interesting for sure. Like to see how like last episode we talked a little bit about generations and all that, and how we as millennials. And also, I just want to say, I know a lot of millennials that were born in the late '80s, and they say that millennials are like like Gen Zers, and I don't
Oh no.
understand that. Like, you're a millennial, don't try
Yeah,
to,
like don't fight it. Don't
yeah,
fight it.
and
And then why the fuck would you want to be a part of Gen X?
right,
Why? Like
right,
like like bro, like millennials is where it's at. We had the good fortune of having both no technology and technology. We grew up with it. We adapted. We learned to use it. All Gen Xers do is get fucking mad. That's it. They're just
yeah.
mad.
But I always see like the reference to like, oh, these millennials are so lazy, and they're
You're,
really talking about like Gen Zers, but they're
hmm
like calling them millennials. I'm like, do you know like what? Like
like, do
I
you
think a lot
read?
of people, yeah.
Do you read books?
Anyway, I just wanted to say
Jesus.
that because
Hmm.
I know
No,
people that like reference millennials when they're millennials and they're like talking. I don't know, but
yeah,
what I was gonna say is that like it's gonna be interesting because we like you just mentioned and we mentioned last episode where like we saw that big jump in technology, right? Like
yeah.
we went from like in the '90s having maybe like a PS1
A
or maybe
fucking
like a
light
Game
bright.
Boy or and then having no phones, obviously,
Yep.
like and then growing up without phones. Really, I think I didn't get a phone until I was like 12, 13, 12 or
Nah,
12,
bro.
13,
Way later than that. Ain't no way. Cause I got my first phone when I was
2006.
like 16, dude.
No, but I mean, like, no, but I did have like a flip phone when I, it wasn't even a flip phone, I think.
Yeah, but we
I
were
was
in
in
high school.
So yeah, 14, 15.
Yeah, because
Fuck, I don't
like
remember.
I used to have
Yeah,
to text you off my sister's phone.
could have been 14, 15. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know, but like I know I got it to be able to, like, if I did go out to the movies or whatever, be able to like call my mom or whatever,
bro,
tell
you
her
got a phone so you could talk to women. Okay,
I knew
I
no women. What are you talking about?
you they don't know. I know you. Okay, they don't know you, but I do. He got he is a notorious womanizer. Um,
Okay, okay,
I mean,
let's
just
okay.
65 text messages while I was just trying to ride a bike to an abandoned part of a mall that we pretended to do parkour at.
What do you mean
You know,
pretend that there is video evidence that we
video
did it?
evidence that I busted my balls on a fence
That was
on
only in the movie.
YouTube. If you guys want a face reveal, I challenge you to go find that video. Let us know
Oh
who you
yeah,
think
yeah,
we
yeah.
are.
Go for it. You'd have to. I think it was like 2010. No, 2010, 2009,
Yeah,
2010,
yeah,
around
I
that.
could see that.
So if you can find video of like two guys just parkouring, and
To
it's
kung fu
around,
fighting.
it was up. Yeah, and it was uploaded in like, yeah, 2009, 2010, somewhere around that area, and you find that and you link that down below. Um, I will not send you money because I am poor, but I will applaud you.
Yes, I will figure some prize out for you. You let us know.
You'll get the
Um,
first merch of the marshmallow. What did I say?
lick,
Marshmallow liquor,
yeah, yeah,
s'more liquor, and donut hole liquor.
yep. You will be the first to get the shirts. I promise you that. Now, if you think about that, man, if you think about that, so like, okay, where we are right now in our society, right? You're
Yeah.
talking about tech and where we were back then when we filmed that.
Mm.
We're talking 2010. This was 13 years ago.
Mm.
Um, you had a silver camcorder
Oh
that
yeah.
you had gotten for your birthday, I think, or for Christmas or something
I
like
don't.
that. You had,
Yeah, and a few
and
years early, like it wasn't like a new,
yeah,
like it wasn't a new model of whatever camera that was. I think it was like
yeah,
Canon, or I don't
and
remember now.
and we would run around and film things and do things and just like just crazy stuff. This was 10 years ago. There were still flip phones 13 years ago. Sorry, there were
Yeah,
flip
like the
phones.
fact that we did not film all that on our phones just tells you how
Yeah,
much, like, the quality of whatever camera that were like, it was just
yeah.
horrible. And
Oh yeah.
that also I had to edit on Windows Movie Maker. So
Oh yeah, I remember that. You were good at that too. And then now
I
we
was
look
all
at
right,
it like
decent.
today, I can do full on video edits straight from my phone, man.
Yeah,
it
it
is
is not.
definitely evolving. Like it's so different. And I remember when the
And
first iPhone came out. Oh my god, man.
dude, the fact that it's only been 13 years and so much has changed in 13 years. Like if you like, if I had to like if you told me, oh, we didn't have, cameras on our phones or whatever, like, whoa, what is this, like 1987? What is this?
Right, right.
But it was only 13 years ago. Like
Yep,
that is crazy. In the
y-
last 13 years, so much has changed.
yep.
That's nuts. And
And
I
it
don't know how much more, right? I mean, I know a lot more can change and a lot more can evolve, but it's kind of crazy to think like what is gonna, what the future is gonna look like in terms of technology.
yeah.
Um,
I'm
I think,
interested.
yeah, I think, see, if I had to speculate, I think we're gonna get into, not right now, it's gonna take a few years, but the whole augmented reality,
Hmm.
AR, not so much virtual reality, but augmented reality, that's gonna be big. I want to say in the next 10 years, the next decade.
Yeah. And that
Because
truly is like the best thing because the thing is virtual reality. I look at that like that's old tech. That's
it
basically
really
you
is.
just
Yeah.
wrapping a screen around your face,
It
but
might
augmented.
evolve. It might evolve and just be like just used for gaming, maybe.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
just
for
every
sure.
once in a while, sitting at home, do a little virtual reality gaming stuff. But augmented reality, I think that's the next step. Because if you think about it, our phones are always on us.
Yeah.
Like you I'm sure you've had this like mini heart attack when you don't feel your phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
sure you had it there, and now it's not there. What happened? And maybe it's on the other pocket or whatever. But like when that like we always have our phones on us, so I
Yeah.
think it's only natural to expect it to be where like whatever, be it the phone or some sort of device that lets us communicate and all that stuff, is going to be on us like a wearable thing.
And that's the
Um,
thing is I was talking to Sam about this, right?
mm,
Is like 20 years ago, or how do I put this? Like we're always wondering what the next big thing is, right?
mhm,
And we have lived through several like huge life-changing inventions that
mm,
we've seen in our life. The first one that comes to mind is just the invention of the smartphone, right? The
yeah.
iPhone that came out took the world by storm.
Oh
There
yeah.
are homeless people that own iPhones. Everybody has an iPhone, whatever, right? And that was the big thing. And then as tech continues to evolve, right, it's going to
Mm.
be less about physical items and more about, I think, not necessarily internal. I'm not talking about cybernetics yet. That shit is coming though, and when it does, I'm
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
gonna be a
all on
few
board.
decades. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a few decades for sure.
Yeah, I will be 100% on board with cybernetics. I'm just putting that out there right now. So if there's any like
I'm gonna
mad
get a cyber
scientists,
dick.
yeah, I just want cyber hands. That's all I want. I just want to be able to like grab things and squish them like a tree
like
trunk and just
like
like
your
pop
cyber
it.
dick. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean that'd be pretty legit. Size doesn't matter anymore because you can have whatever you want. So,
Right.
but my thing is like, okay, I sent you this video of the pin. You remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there's this invention out for those that don't know. If you do know, great. If you don't,
It
there's
went
like
pretty
this little,
viral, I think.
yeah, it
It got
definitely
around
did.
pretty quickly. Yeah. But
But
go ahead.
it's this little lapel pin. It's like a little square that you
Mm-hmm.
basically just put on your shirt, and it reads gestures. So like you would hold your hand up, pinch your fingers, wave, do something, just like flick your hands around, and it will process those gestures as commands. And then not only will it do that, it will project, like the time, like, oh, okay, what time is it? You hold your hand out, it projects it on your hand. We're going to be less about physical things that we hold, sitting in front of screens, um, doing all that to where we are the screen, I guess.
Yeah.
And I
No.
actually
Yeah.
think we're going to move away from technology that forces us to sit and puts us in the center of technology, right? Like
Mm,
where we have computers, desktop computers, where we have to sit down and do our work. Eventually, I think that's going to go away. Eventually, I think
yeah.
it's just going to be a computer that you wear and that you can walk around and be mobile, and people will be working while they're driving. People will be working while they're sitting at home. People will be playing games while they're at Walmart or, waiting in a long pharmacy line, something.
Yeah.
We're
I think
moving
it's
away.
yeah.
Yeah.
From yeah, you're saying you're moving away from like having to be at a certain place to use a technology or a
Yeah.
specific technology to having that technology just follow us wherever we go.
Yeah. It'll
Yeah.
be ridiculously mobile. And for me, that's exciting
Yeah.
because, if you're really big into tech, it's almost like you have to make sacrifices. You have to be like, oh no, I gotta, work on my computer. I gotta do this, IT, whatever. You're kind of locked into this thing. But imagine if you can just do coding while sitting in line at Walmart. Like you can full on do coding, not on
Mm.
your phone, not on a tiny little screen, but in augmented reality, you can sit there and develop code while you're waiting on something and then stop and start whenever you so choose.
I mean,
Like,
it's existing technology. It's not like
yeah.
new. It's just gonna get better.
Yeah, it's going to get better. It's just like VR. You remember when VR first came out
Yeah.
and we're like, holy shit, the possibilities with this thing.
Well, have
Well,
you? I don't know if you've seen the Meta Quest.
yeah, yeah.
that does mixed reality, where you
Yeah,
have
dude.
the VR and the AR. Then I think Apple's coming out with, I think it's called Vision Pro or something like
Something
that.
like that.
I don't know, but they announced it as well. It's gonna. I don't know if it's next year or but that's another mixed reality thing. And yeah, like for example, I see a lot of videos with people using the Meta Quest and saying how much like they've, I think it's the third, I think it's this third iteration of Meta Quest.
Yeah.
Um, and so like they tried like they're comparing it to like the first ones that came out, and it's completely different. Like, and it's
Yeah.
not, it hasn't been that long since the first one came out. Like, not really, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's definitely where it's heading. I think technology is heading towards, like you were saying, having technology centered around us and not having like a technology station, like you were saying, like, you know, you need to go to your desk and sit down and use your computer there.
Yeah.
It's going to be powerful enough so that you can just have that on you at all times, and you can be saying, oh yeah, well, yeah, I have a phone, that's a computer. Yeah, but you still have to like
So like
physically
imagine
touch it.
imagine, okay. Like, okay, I'm a retail store manager. I work at a brick and mortar location, right? Now
Mhm,
imagine the deeper we go into this, okay?
mhm.
Where when you report for work, you're a retail store manager, you put on like the Apple Vision and you're inside of an online e-commerce store and other people come into that store to shop and they can
Mm,
virtually try things on, try clothes on, try shoes on
yeah,
before they buy, look in mirrors, do this, do that, do all these things, and you're running an e-commerce location and you're doing it all from your house.
hmm.
You report
You're
for
gonna be
work by waking
lazy
up.
as fuck.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. Like, but that's the thing with tech centered around you. You go to work 8 hours, and then all you do is take your glasses off. You need a break, you take your fucking glasses off. Hey guys, I'm gonna go on a 30. I'm gonna take these glasses off, and then you go do stuff.
Also, that completely erases commuting and, you know, and
And then
also, I guess, emissions as well, like, you know,
yeah,
from cars.
like a huge, huge amount. Now the first thought, and it's exactly what you just brought up, is how lazy people are gonna be. But imagine
Yeah.
if you work all day, 8 hours, all you did was wake up, put on glasses, go to work, and then you
Hmm.
take off your glasses, you're at home, you're gonna have enough energy to go do
True.
stuff. You're gonna wanna go out. You're gonna wanna go do these things so that I mean, life is good. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I just think it would add one, it would add an important experience to online shopping, which is just the customer service part. Everybody knows when you shop online, you're pretty much omitting all of the customer service. But now when you digitize that and you have an available assistant that's just like, hey, what are you looking for? Oh, I have a great product selection over here. And all you do, you just do these little gestures with your hand and you pull up a catalog and they're like, oh, I'm not really interested or I'm just shopping around. And you
Yeah.
close your menu and you just go. And then there's no, I mean, that would be crazy.
I
You know what I
think
mean? I
that
mean,
you're right. I think you're I think you're right about like the fact that we will still want some sort of human interaction. Now, I do
yeah.
know, like for example, when Meta, or you know, previously known as Facebook, came out with the whole like metaverse. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they had like these ugly ass like weird avatar things
Yeah.
and looked horrible, and it was just like awkward and whatever. In its current state, yes, but I think in some way or another, like you were saying, like if you're gonna have a virtual store or whatever, or anything, or a virtual workplace, there's gonna be a point where, yeah, you're gonna have to have some sort of physical representation of whoever you're talking to,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna actually pull that off. Because, like I said, if I'm looking at a weird like 3D model of whatever, obviously that's not like a real interaction, although the person you're talking to is a real person. The what you're looking at is not a real person, so I'm excited by it, but at the same time, like, how long will we go on without like looking at another human?
Yeah.
Well, maybe not us in particular, but other people,
Well,
you know?
I think other people, I think about my daily life. I have my wife and my daughter at home, look at them. And outside of that, I don't really see a whole lot of other people. I might drive to my sister's house. I might go talk to my mom. Nothing out of the ordinary. The only thing that would change is just the online experience.
Hmm.
I think, you know, I mean, just the jobs that could open up with that alone, right? So I open a digital store, right? And I'm the virtual assistant. When you decide to come to my quote unquote website or my store, you walk in, I'm there. Hey, how's it going? Um, you get to talk to other people, whatever. And then you can pay people to say, hey, um, the 3D models I made of the shoes that I'm trying to sell really suck. Can you create a 3D model of these that accurately represent what I'm trying to sell? And then
Mm.
when people come into your store, you're like, hey, these are the model. Man, them things ugly as fuck. It's like, okay, can't sell it. And then you go pay somebody to make a better version, put it on them, and it's like an accurate representation of them. Like the amount of
Well,
digital jobs that would open up, like
oh yeah, for
creators.
sure, and for sure, that's. I mean, we're not gonna run out of jobs. I don't think. I know a lot of people could be scared of like, oh well, if we're gonna have all this technology, then we're gonna lose jobs. And there's gonna be, I guess, it's just gonna be a lot more like high skilled jobs. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And it'll open the door for
because
artists.
yeah,
Could
I think I'm just a little concerned about that human touch.
Well, you would be the human
Not
touch, you
not
know?
physical, like human. Not I don't want to touch somebody like a clerk or like a store clerk or anything like that, but like a cashier. But I'm just saying, like having that. I mean, you're maintaining that conversation, that human conversation. I much prefer that than having like AI robots, talk to
Yeah,
you. For sure. Like I don't want to have like an NPC that I got to talk to.
right.
Although a lot of humans are like
They are.
they are like straight out of Skyrim or Oblivion.
Yeah.
Um, but still, at least they're somewhat human, I think. And so it's kind of losing that would be a shame because at first it'll be cool because you're like, oh, I'm talking to a robot. But then it's like, God damn it, I gotta talk to this
But then,
robot.
like, imagine you come into my store and you think I'm a robot and I tell you to go fuck yourself. You'd be like,
I would.
whoa, what?
But you would do that just to get me to know that you're a human,
No,
and then
I
I
would.
would
I
never
mean,
come to your store because you just,
it
you
would be
insulted me.
like it would be like the ultimate online shopping experience where you just have an actual person that's guiding your shopping, and then if you're like, hey, I'm just browsing, you can actually just say that, and it's like
Now,
there's no.
how would we move in this digital world, like the one that you're imagining? Are we just sitting there? Because I don't know if you know this, but Walmart did this, or they pitched this, and I don't know if you've seen this video, but it is the cringiest, most awkward
Hmm,
thing I've ever seen. Walmart, basically, this whole thing you're saying, they
mhm.
did this and they said, okay, well, we'll have like an online, digital experience to Walmart. And you do this from like your car, I
Mm.
guess, because you're sitting there and you have the glasses on but you're already at the Walmart, but you're doing this from your I don't know. It's kind of it's very cringy. I'll send it to you later. But basically, they did this thing as well, and you're sitting there in your car or I guess at home, and like, how are you moving around through the aisles? Are the aisles just moving around you,
I would say
but you
so.
you
Like
swipe
it.
and then a new aisle shows up? And, oh yeah, this is what I wanted.
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay,
would say
but then
so.
how is that different from just going on Amazon and clicking, okay, I want this, or going to whatever store they have an online store. You just go
Mhm.
on there and just add stuff to your shopping cart and check out and you're done. Like
So,
what what is the incentive to have besides the cool factor? What is the
uh
incentive to actually put on some goggle, like some sort of goggles or glasses or something to to go through all this when it's just so simple as going on your computer or your phone and just going on that whatever online store is that you need, and then you're done.
So it's what the computer side is missing is what's different, and it's missing the human interaction. How many times have you been online shopping for something, even on Amazon? It's like, fuck, I can't find what I'm looking for. I want this thing and I can't find it. But then you have another human being who says, hey, they might be okay, if you go on LinkedIn right now, you can find people charging money to teach you how to like search cues
Dougie.
in
Oh, okay.
chat GPT or whatever. You
Yeah,
you can people will pay for, like, okay, this is the proper way to search for this thing.
which is
Um,
ridiculous, but okay.
well, I mean, there are people that like they suck at Google searching. I know several people that can never find what they're looking for because they suck at searching, right? And
Hmm.
you have people in there completely free. It's like, what are you looking for today? Well, I want a new pair of shoes, but I want them to be like this and I want them to be like that. Okay, well, I have Nike, Adidas, and Jordans. Where are you at? I would prefer Adidas. Okay, so let's look over here at Adidas. This is what it is. Is there anything
Hmm.
else I can help you find? No, I'll just shop around here. Then you think of something else. It's just like a real world shopping experience online. And that's what the digital experience is missing right now, as far as when you open up Amazon, there's so much
Hmm.
variety, you don't know where to start. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to go to this store looking for this, and then this person's going to help me find this or something different.
Okay,
Look
but
at
what? Yeah, go ahead.
look at websites like Threads, where you get on Threads, you tell them a little bit about yourself, and then they curate their own style, and then they send it to you. You
Hmm.
try it. If you like some of the stuff that they send, great. If not, you send it back, right? It's like having that, but in real life. You're actually talking to the stylist. You're actually talking to um, people who are involved in that industry and are experts at their industry, versus you get online. You're like, okay, I want a new, like, okay, I went through this a couple months ago. I was like, okay, I need new boots. Um, I Google immediately top 10 best work boots for a lot of walking, right? And then you
Yes.
find your list of top 10, and then you don't know if those are sponsored ads where Ariat is just
No.
trying to, pay this website to put theirs at number one, right? Versus, hey, I need a new pair of shoes. You jump on, you're talking to an employee, somebody who's like, yeah, let me walk you through these. Okay, you walk a lot, you probably don't want to wear this, you want to wear these instead. These are
Okay,
handmade, so
but
on and so forth.
how will you? Because you're talking a lot about clothes. Okay,
Well, yeah.
how can you? No, which is fine. But I'm saying, like, how are you going to replace actually trying on something?
So that, I mean, it's
Especially when it
virtual. You
comes to
can't.
shoes, you want to know how that feels. You know what I'm saying? You want to
So
walk around a little bit and be like, okay, this feels good.
so the only thing I can think of is, if you're in this virtual world, you're already wearing glasses. If it's augmented, you can see your real body, and then you can put a quote unquote 3D model of those shoes on your feet,
Yes,
or
but it
you go
doesn't
look in a mirror.
change the feel.
Well, it's, I mean, that's still at least 25% better than just jumping on Amazon, buying a pair of shoes. Like,
I
if you're
mean, you'll
looking
see
for
how
the
they look on
feel,
you. Yeah,
yeah, if
yeah.
you're looking for the feel, then you need to go shop in a brick and mortar shop. But if you're looking to buy a new pair of boots, this would be a step up from what's already out there. It is augmented, you can fully see it, and you're like, hey, okay. Because Amazon already has that augmented. You're buying a piece of furniture, you can pull
Yeah,
up
yeah,
your
yeah.
camera and it'll show you what it looks like. Now
Yeah,
imagine if
no,
you just,
all this technology kind of already exists. It's not as developed as we're speculating it will become,
yeah.
but it's still it exists. Like it's just a
Hmm.
matter of time until and development until it becomes what we're saying. But the thing I do fear, honestly, is just um a lot of like mom and pop shops and stuff like that won't be able to like invest in having this technology implemented because I'm sure, especially in the beginning, it's going to be hard to it's going to be expensive to implement this technology and bring that um, to your customers. And so obviously big corporations are going to be able to do it for sure. Like I mentioned, and I actually sent you the video of Walmart's little
Yeah.
whatever that is. They so they're going to be able to do it because they have they have the money to make it happen. But brick and mortar mom and pop shops, it's gonna be a little more difficult. And
Yeah.
I don't know if customers, if we're gonna get so used to, um, it's like, for example, when you go somewhere and they only accept cash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Huge
dude, like
inconvenience. I
nowadays,
fucking hate those places.
yeah, I honestly don't carry around any change or anything. I just pay with my phone,
Yeah.
and 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 I understand like some places, it's more difficult because they have to pay, there's some sort of like commission thing with the banks or whatever when you have to have but still, like it's like, oh, god damn it.
Yep.
So that's
Absolutely.
gonna happen too. That's gonna happen
But
where like, they don't have the funds, or they can't, it just doesn't, they can't justify investing in all that,
so
when
all
they
it
can't.
is you have a programmer or whatever, somebody who builds websites, right? Build a virtual website, whatever. And while you're on Vision, you go to www.bootsforme.com or something, and it
Okay,
is a mom
first
and
of
pop
all, if
shop.
you're typing www
I'm
dot,
just saying.
just get
I'm
off
just
the
saying.
Vision, dude. Get off the
I'm
Vision,
just
get on the
saying.
couch.
I'm just saying. Okay. You go there and then you fucking, you that mom and pop shop just paid somebody to make a website, right? Is it expensive? Yes. But in the world of business, adapt or die. If those mom and pop shops are resistant to change, which that's most likely what it is, it
Mhm,
has nothing to do with money, because the same thing happened with computers. A lot of businesses that were resistant to implementing computers in their business, they shut down because they were resistant to change. Same thing with online stores. Like when you go into mom and pop shops and you're like, hey, do you guys have a website? Like I would like to browse from home or whatever. When they say no, like here's a perfect example. I have a local game store that I go to. Um, Shout out
mhm.
Level Up Games. They
Yeah.
just got an online website of their actual on-hand inventory for their store this year. And
Mm,
every year that I shopped with them before that online website, I was like, why the fuck don't you guys show what you have on hand? Like, I don't want to have to drive all the way up here to find out that you guys don't have the shit that I'm looking for. Like, you need an
mm,
online website. Now, if those companies don't have an online website, they're already a step behind. And then with the implementation of new technology, they're a further step behind. And then that's what winds up closing them. Look at Kmart. Look at all these different shops that we grew up with. They're closed now because they were resistant to change. You can't fight technology. You have to embrace it. So if you're a mom and pop shop and this new tech is coming out, you have to invest in it, because that's the way the world's going. You being resistant to that is going to be the detriment of your business. That's why companies like Square exist, to for those shops that can only take cash and they don't want to pay Visa every time somebody swipes their card, they get
mhm.
Square. So it's like, hey, that's why Cash App exists. That's why all these things exist, is to smooth that transition over to where these companies don't have to pay for people swiping cards. And it's easier for them to swing into this. But if you're resistant to it and you're a cash only business, of course you're going to close. And don't be shocked when you do,
I
you
mean,
know?
obviously, I'm not saying that you don't have, like, obviously, to survive, you do have to adapt. I mean, at the end of the day, it's survival of the fittest, and the fittest being those who can adapt the best to the whatever situation. So, but it's gonna be, in a way, sad to see how, livelihoods just, because there are gonna be
Yeah.
people that don't want to change, obviously.
Yeah. And then there are people who also aren't going to use that digital experience. But when they do, It's there. It's just like phones. Like I'm pretty sure I know at least 5 people that only have flip phones. Which is crazy to me. I'm like, why the hell do you have a
What?
flip phone? Yeah, my boss is one of them. Ridiculous. Um, but
They don't
it's
exist
like,
here anymore.
yeah, like that's the thing is like you go somewhere, like okay, the shoes for example, you're talking about the feel. Like for some people, you just can't replace that. I still don't shop online. I don't order anything from online. I like
Uh,
my instant gratification. I don't order shit online unless it's like a part or a repair thing that I need. But I still go into brick and mortar shops. It's not that they're gonna go extinct if they
mhm.
don't have an online virtual store where you can try on things. It's more so it would only benefit their business by extending their reach past just the city that they're located in.
I think it's like, for example, I don't really buy a lot online. I do buy, but I let's say, um, I buy what when I know exactly what I want. I buy
Yeah,
it online because sometimes it's something like maybe the store that I know exactly what I want. Like we're it's like either far or whatever, or it's not even sometimes it's not even in the country. So sometimes
yeah.
like, all right, I need to buy this, and I know I can get it online on Amazon or whatever. So and that's convenient. That's cool. Um, but I don't. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be difficult as well because even though we're used to these like changes in technology, it's still gonna be. I think there's some sort of attachment as well, or I think the millennials in general are more nostalgic
Yeah.
in general. And so I think that the fact that we although we are excited by future tech, we're also nostalgic about old tech and old
Yeah.
stuff. Like every
Yeah.
time I hear the startup sound of a PS1, I cry a
Oh
little bit.
man, I
You know what I'm
love it.
saying? Or the Game Boy little,
Yeah,
like the cube, not the Game Boy, the GameCube. Sorry, the
yeah,
GameCube startup. That kind of like or watching like an old VHS that like you got that little like with the lines going up and down, like the static and all
yeah.
that stuff. Like that is nostalgia at its best. And we as millennials, I think, are pretty nostalgic. So when we see a lot of that stuff going away, it's gonna be like we might be nostalgic to today, 10
Well,
years,
here's the
20
thing,
years from now.
and this is like the most important thing: is tech exists to make your life easier. Now, you mentioned the GameCube. Okay, you briefly mentioned the Game Boy by mistake, but let's take the Game Boy. Okay,
Yeah.
we are nostalgic, right? And we miss the Game Boy, but we know we can't physically hold the Game Boy. So, what does Nico do 15 years ago? He downloads an emulator on his PC so that he can
Guilty
play.
as charged.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember, motherfucker. And you did it on a PC. Okay.
Yeah.
Now imagine, okay, virtual experience. You go into a game store and you can boot up a original PS1 and play the PS1 like you did. You play your PS3 with
Yeah, but there's some
Metal Gear
okay. I
Solid.
will. Yes. Okay. Yes, but I'm gonna be honest. Although being able to play on an emulator, and I've played PS1 games on emulators as well since then,
Yep.
just to get that nostalgia and hear that startup sound. But it's still not the same, and it's never gonna
Well,
be the same. I'm
exactly.
fully aware that it's never gonna be the same. Like I know that dude, the moment where like when you have a disc and it's like scratched up and you're not sure
Yep.
if it's gonna play or not, and you're like, oh, you're like, you're like scrubbing it and like make sure that it's clean. You put it
Yep.
in there and you hear that startup thing, and oh man,
The most iconic startup, I'm sorry, is the PS2. But,
dude,
you know,
no, but I saw a TikTok video on this. Like, it was like a POV when you pretend like you don't really care if the
yep.
game starts or not.
Yep.
So you're like not even looking at the TV, but like you hear like the sounds of the PS whatever, or and when it finally like it plays whatever sound it made when the disc actually like read correctly and it worked, and you get
Just
all
like
excited. You're
instant.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Like I
But
don't
I
care if it's
remember
short.
this
So
like distinctly memory like pretending not to get like I don't care if it doesn't work or whatever.
yeah, and then it does, and you're like,
And
fuck
you're like,
yeah,
oh
you know.
yeah.
I did care. Yeah, I think we did that with like Onimusha or one of those games that you had at
Oh yeah,
your
for
house.
sure. For sure.
Um, but that's the thing is like you're never gonna get that. But the thing with nostalgia is you're chasing that. It's never gonna be the same, right?
No.
But you're chasing it, and once you get it, you're like, cool. If you want the old system, you can go buy it, but you know you can't justify spending $180 on a console that came out 20 years ago. So, what's the next
Yeah.
best thing? An emulator app that does it for you for almost free, and you get a taste. But
Mm.
bringing that and being able to do that with anything. I mean, imagine a Sega Genesis or a Dreamcast, a Nintendo 64, but just being there in the moment. Again, you can get that digitally. It won't be the same, but it'll be
Mhm.
damn close enough to where you're like, you know what, this was a good purchase. It's
I mean,
like
yeah.
when like you on PlayStation, you have the PS Now, right?
Mhm.
Where you can go back and play games from the PS2 on your PS5. You can play the
Yeah.
original God of Wars. And the thing is you boot them up and they're never the same. It's like
Oh,
because you're not in that generation anymore. Those graphics are old and they're not as like spellbinding as they used to be.
no, of
You
course.
know, so but you can still play and that's why they offer it and honestly, they make millions off of it.
Oh yeah.
But
No, I agree. I agree with like the whole like I do see it happening. I'm just cautious of like that transition from having mostly physical, because obviously nowadays there's a lot of online stores and a lot of like online shopping, obviously.
yeah,
And so it's not like it's going to be a completely new concept. And in the past, I want to say like 10 years, I mean, the amount of sales, just online sales compared to like physical sales, I don't know. They're probably I don't know if there's a study on that or any like statistics on how they compare, but
I'm sure it's
it, it's
higher
gonna
because it's
it's gonna get
convenient.
to a point where it's gonna like online sales will beat physical sales for sure. I mean, that's
Yeah.
gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's not gonna happen. It's just gonna be weird to see that transition of like actually like virtually or whatever being in that store as opposed to just going on your phone or your computer and just buying it,
Yeah.
using your hands still to
Yeah.
click on stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Like that, the transition of the user interface. That's what I'm interested to see, but also kind of like not scared. Just it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird to see how that transition is made to where like you go from having to use both your hands to type and click to just gestures and voice commands and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting, for sure. And I think you were mentioning earlier like how to try on clothes. It would just be like a 3D model and seeing it on your body or whatever. That actually, that I mean that, and it already exists as we mentioned, but
Yeah.
actually what I do think is gonna even maybe a little further down the line, but it's gonna be wearable technology. And what I mean
Yes.
by that is like clothing that is like smart clothing, basically. Um, so that like you can change the look of what, like you get a simple like plain tee,
Yep.
um, but with your, I want to say phone, but it would probably be some other device that you can change the look of that shirt,
Yeah.
um, and
100%.
have it, I don't know, like change colors, change, fabric, or like at least the look of the fabric, the textile itself. Um, that
See,
I
now
think is gonna eventually happen.
that's one thing I don't actually want to happen. So what I'm picturing is technology when you want it. I don't want a world where we live in the virtual things
But it's
like
gonna get there.
where I know, but that's what scares me is when people are like, I'm gonna put these glasses on and I'm never taking these fucking things off again. Everything I see is gonna be virtual, like they live in it. I'm just
Mm.
talking about as a like a nice supplement where you're like, hey, I want to go on vacation to Barcelona and go see my brother. I put on glasses, I look around, I can go see hotels and get like the general experience first, and you can go to a town or city that you've never even been to and already
Mm.
have like a general grasp of the layout, like Google Earth, but amplified. And
Yeah.
you can go see, like, hey, okay, so this is this place. And then you get there and you already kind of have like a general map like that. I would agree with. But if it's like, hey, I'm going to go on vacation to Barcelona and you just sit in your bed and you're like, okay, I'm here. This is great. I love it. This was the best vacation ever. And then you take the glasses off and go back, to your normal. Like, I don't want to live in virtual
Yeah, yeah,
reality.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't,
The
you
the
know,
thing is though, like I think we might be like when it gets to the like I don't think it's gonna happen in the next like 10 years. I think that what we're talking about, like where you can wear technology, like wear different like smart clothes or all that,
yeah.
and have people live in a virtual world, that's gonna be way further down the line, I think.
I
That's gonna
hope it does not get there.
yeah. I don't know. We might get to see it, but we will not be a part of that. I think we're gonna be in our way into like our 70s or 80s or something like that by the time
Yeah.
that happens. And
Yeah.
obviously we're gonna be like the new boomers and be like, "Oh, my day you had to change your clothes."
Go touch
And
grass, nerd.
yeah, basically. Like I think or like in my day we used to play with our hands and like
I
actually
I
hold a
used to
controller.
I used to manually beat off. Used to do this shit and like the
I don't know,
difficult
man.
way.
Is there an app for for getting your dick sucked?
There might be. There might be. You never know.
That's scary, dude. Sex
Yeah, man.
technology. Oh, dude, that whole industry that is gonna
It'll
because I
explode.
mean we were talking about shopping experience, but for damn sure that one of the first things that people are gonna do is have like porn sites converted into a virtual experience.
Yep. And then that
That's
right there, that will be scary because that's when true human connection, because porn has already
oh
like
yeah, it's damaged so
ruined.
many. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
so bad, so bad. And then just to get it, like whenever you want it at a full experience, like I remember having to imagine certain things just so I could bust a
Oh
nut,
yeah.
and then we get
Fuck yeah.
smartphones and it's like, oh, I don't have to imagine shit. I can just
No,
search for it.
yeah, I remember having to imagine, and then I remember having to like on the like house computer because obviously you only had one computer,
Yeah.
having to print out pictures,
Yep.
and on dial up, obviously, so that took forever. Downloading the pictures, putting them in, and then like printing them out, and then hiding them in my room,
Yep.
um, so I could use for later.
I remember
That
I
was
had good friends that were artists, and I'd be like, hey, can you draw me a chick with some sweet boobs? You know?
yeah, there's I think Theo Vaughn has a joke about that where like they used to pay this guy like $5 on a Thursday so that on Friday he could have multiple drawings of like a little pussy, and then
Dude, that's hilarious.
and they would like they would pay this guy who was a good artist, I guess, and
Did
they would just
did
use that for the weekend.
did you ever go to like your friend's house and like they had like a decent porn stash? Like they may have stolen from their dad or just
I think I had one. We definitely didn't have uh we weren't of the generation that had the magazines as much, but I
we
think
were at the tail end. I remember crusty
yeah.
magazine pages, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, I obviously I remember like seeing them. I just don't remember who had them because it wasn't me. I didn't
Yeah.
have them. You didn't have them. I don't think.
Mm-mm. We had computers
Yeah.
and we had Joe's computer, which Joe, if you ever listen to this, there was
Well,
so much porn watched on
he's
your
like,
fucking
oh, I
computer.
know. I got my own collection.
Yeah, right. Right.
No,
Dude, that shit.
I do remember having when I got like we finally got cable. They were like Direct TV or whatever, and there was the Playboy channel.
I remember that. I remember beating off in your room.
Yeah, dude.
I remember we'd be like,
fine.
we'd be like, all right, bro, I'm gonna step out for a second. You just go bust a fucking prepubescent nut to your friend's porn channel.
Yeah, dude.
I remember when your parents found out about that shit.
I think eventually they didn't care. Like they never like, even if they found out, like it wasn't, you know, they were okay. I mean, I'm not saying they were cool with it, but they weren't like, okay, now you can't be in your room alone, like, you know?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like a natural thing. I mean, we were just teens. It's not like they took away anything or anything like that. But obviously,
I'm just sure. Yeah, it's awkward as shit because you had like, and this was in your house. Like this was before that apartment, so like we were young.
Yeah, this is in the house. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had your room, and then you had that playroom next to it.
Yeah.
And there was a TV in one and a TV in your room, and I just remember, like, as kids being like, "Hey, man, you know, like I got to get this thing out," you know, like, oh my god.
Man. All right, I'm gonna do the same. Yeah, dude. I mean, those were such nostalgia.
Like, I'm sorry, man, but this day and age, like this generation that's growing up right now, where they just have porn on their screen and they don't have to like awkwardly beat off in their friend's house, like you're missing a crucial life experience.
I mean, it's gonna get to the point where you can beat off at the dinner table, man, and it's gonna be like you're just gonna be sitting there having dinner at your friend's house, and your eyes gonna roll to the back of your head, and you're like, "Oh, all right,
yeah,
you pass the gravy."
Dude, oh my god, porn has just shaped so much.
Yeah, but I think obviously a lot of people fall into the addiction of porn. But and like you were saying, like it's so available nowadays, and it's just crazy how available it is, and how in general how it's promoted, even if it's not like actual porn, just like sexual stuff is so like out there, and like even if like on Instagram or whatever, like it's, you know, they push it, you know, they push it. And so far that's like, even if you don't want to see it, you see it, like you see, like, you know, girls in bikinis and all that kind of stuff, and you know, power to them, like they're working, they're models or whatever. That's I'm not like dissing on the girls that are like, you know, showing their body.
That's whorish, and you need to go to church.
All right, and that's when we get banned.
No, I mean, like, just fucking, you know, like, I get it, sex sells, but like,
yeah, but at the end of the day, you're selling your body or whatever. Which, I mean, if that's how you make a living, look, that's you.
But the thing is
fuck, dude.
But what you need to realize is, yes, they're selling their body. They're not selling it to us, Nico. We're adults. We're full. They're selling their body to like 12-year-old boys who like want to see some tits on. Oh my god, dude! Do you remember fucking God, that girl we would talk to online?
Her name was Sam, dude.
Oh my!
No, that's what she said her name was.
Yeah, and like, dude,
I was catfished before catfish even exists, man.
But like, we were children.
We were
and like
12. No, we were like 12, 13. I was like, yeah, fuck, dude. That was so, dude. My parents got pissed because she lived like in Indiana or something.
Yeah.
The phone bill, dude. We did like sex
I remember that.
Or not sexting, because texting wasn't a thing, but dude, fuck.
I remember that shit, bro. And that's like that's the thing. That's who these girls who are pushing their bodies. You're not pushing it to 30-year-old men who have their shit together and, you know, like just people who are progressing in their life. You're selling it to preteen children that just need to bust a nut. And like that shit cracks me up, because there are grown men that watch your videos. Absolutely. But we're not watching your videos to like, you know, meet you. I'm just trying to get this thing out of here.
Oh yeah.
But there's no
personal connection to that.
No, and half the time I'm disgusted afterwards, where I'm like, God,
Oh
you
yeah.
ever do that? You ever
Oh
just
yeah,
get
that
like,
happens a lot.
yeah, dude, that's
When you
hilarious.
get into like some weird category, because I don't know about you, but I don't know how this conversation just got into like porn stuff, but I'm a multi-tab masturbator.
Holy shit. Well, I don't have a computer like that, and
Oh yeah, when I get down to like, if it's a special day or whatever, and I'm on the computer, um,
you're
I
you're
I
just
I pick out different videos that I like that call to my attention.
see. I do it. I'm like a man on a mission. I jump in, I run to the bathroom, like, all right, got to take a dump. I find one, and I'm like, all right, this good. I don't ever make it to page 50. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? I'm
no,
not
no, I don't
picky.
get
I'm
to
just
page 50 either. But I go to like different, like I go, all right, I want to see some Asian, I want to see some Latina, I want to see some of it, and I click on different videos that look good, and then that's when I'm on. If I'm on the phone, it's different, obviously, because it's much
yeah.
more difficult. But if I'm on the computer, yeah, I open up different tabs. I start getting some momentum on one video. I hop on another one. I do a little like quick left with my left hand. I do a little
Alt
click,
tab.
and I go to a different one, and I'm like, all right, this is good. All right, I'm gonna pause that, go to the next, and I just I don't really
Do
plan out the order in which I do it, so I don't know if I finish on a specific video because that's what I wanted. It just kind of happens when it happens. But yeah, I'm a
some
multi-tab master. They call
sometimes
them MTMs. They call them
that's
multi-tab
amazing.
masturbators.
Jesus Christ. And that's like the thing, dude. Like there are certain things I'm like, I'm not coming to this. I'm gonna move to another video. Like, I don't want to come to this. Or have you
Oh
ever
yeah,
like
dude, that's
come
happened
at
to
the
me. It happened to me when when you choose a video and it turns out to be way different than what you expected, and you're like, oh no, 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 no,
have
no,
you
no.
ever come at like the wrong time?
I probably have. I can't. I probably try to erase that from my like, because I probably have
Yeah,
for
like
sure. I just
like
can't think.
you're like right there
And then
and
like a
just
door. There's like a door, and it's like, oh,
no, my thing is like it's like the wrong angle of like the man's ass
oh yeah, that, yep. And then you're
and
like, am I gay? Because I came like,
and you're just like fuck,
I guess
it's
I'm
like
gay
god
now.
damn it. Yep. That's
No,
fucking
that's
awful.
definitely happened for sure.
See,
But
like, and there's a thing, like, because I had a time where I realized I was addicted to porn, right?
oh yeah.
And and it was like really bad. Now it's like a casual thing, like,
Hmm.
it's like, Sam and Ari are out. Go ahead and,
Yeah,
indulge.
you got to get some me time, and
Yeah. But there
yeah.
was a time, and this does happen, and this is a normal thing. And then this for all the listeners, if you're a dude and you're wondering, okay, of do you have a problem or not? When you are desensitized
Mm,
enough to where certain categories pique your interest more than normal categories, okay?
mm.
I'm not going to go in depth because I'm sure there are people that listen to this video that know me personally, okay? But there are certain categories that pique your interest and you're like, I shouldn't be watching this, okay? And I'm not talking about like full
Not
on.
like not snuff porn or anything like that. Like,
Yeah, not that. If you've made it to snuff, like you got other problems and you need
that's, yeah.
to you need to reflect. But there is a very specific category that a lot of people won't mention when they talk about porn. But when you're an addict and you've made it to that category and you know who you are and you know what category I'm talking about,
I
and if
actually
that's
don't. Are you talking about like trans or something? What do you?
it could be trans, it could be um just various things. Like I've made it to several categories. Okay.
Yeah, I probably made into some categories that I'm not like
Mhm.
100%. I'm not anything, again, not anything like violent or anything like that. Like I'm not
Yeah,
trying
no,
to,
no, no.
but
Like I think if you make it to trans porn, that's when you need to like okay, you need to step back a little
no,
bit because
never made it into trans or gay porn. Um,
like
only
if you
like,
make it to gay, I think that's where you need to like, like if you cross that border from going from like
Mm.
straight porn, because I've watched a trans fuck a chick, it's hot as hell,
Mm.
and
I
but
couldn't. No, I've seen like the little,
no,
the
I mean it,
things, but I've never.
but that's the extent, and that's what I'm talking about. If you make it to specific categories where you're like, this is on like
Yeah,
where just regular porn isn't doing it for you, you have to go see some off the wall shit. That's where you need to take a break, and hey, maybe you need a hobby, or maybe you need something, because
yeah. It's
it's
either
not
that
that.
or the frequency in which you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you're staying in the same good old categories,
Mm-hmm.
but you're doing it not only like every day, but multiple times a day. If you're doing multiple times a day, that's I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm never
like
I
you got to take a break, and
yeah.
you gotta reevaluate certain things, because once you make it there, it's you, and where it really starts to show. Okay, because before you make it to these categories, you're gonna stumble upon like gangbangs and shit, and
Yeah.
then once gangbangs stop doing it for you, you need to stop.
Yeah,
That's my personal advice, is like once like that's like the peak of normalcy.
yeah.
Okay, once that stops and that's not entertaining
Yeah,
for you, you
that
need to stop jerking it.
gangbang category, that's kind of, that's little like there's 1 foot on that extreme end, at least for
Yep.
me, and 1 foot in like the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get into that gangbang bukkake kind of stuff, that's
Yeah.
you're kind of dabbling into the extremist side of porn.
You are on a slippery slope, and you are
Yep,
gonna fall
yep.
very hard,
And that slippery slope is slippery because it's full of cum.
full of cum, and yeah. So that's like my advice to those people, is like, if that's where it is, okay, you need to unplug for a little bit, maybe set up some controls on your phone and just dial it back, because that hill is a long hill to go down,
Yep.
and there's nothing worse than like masturbation guilt.
No, yeah, for sure. And again, it's not only the content, also the frequency, and I think because I mean, masturbation is normal. I mean, it's natural. I think it's good that treat yourself. I guess every once in a
Treat
while,
yourself.
it's nice. Oh, it's some you time. You and you, and you're you know, and that's cool. But obviously, if it's getting in the way of other stuff,
Yeah,
like life, that's when you have to,
you got to reevaluate.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I agree. So that's
Damn.
where wearable tech will get you. So yeah, you'll be beating off at the dinner table asking to pass the gravy while you're making
Oh,
gravy.
that's where, yeah, that's tech for you. That's where we
Yep.
are now,
Yep.
and you're watching, tranny
That's
and
so
gangbang.
good. That's so
Um,
good,
but I think that's a great note to end this episode. Just
bro.
uh
So
wow.
as always, so getting away from
Are
this
you gonna ask
topic.
me what's my favorite porn category?
No. I want what I do want to know is there a technology out there that you're excited for?
Mm. For a second, I was a little not excited. I actually was scared a little bit of AI. Then I realized it's not really AI. I mean, it is, but it isn't like completely artificial intelligence. It's more just like trained. It's a
Yeah.
trained intelligence. It's a trained program. It's not exactly like it's thinking on its own. It's mostly just basing it off your whatever it's been fed. So that made me a little bit more relaxed in the sense of like, okay, we're not going to be taken over by AI just yet. But
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think I'm excited for the whole mixed reality stuff
Yeah.
for sure. Like that I've seen videos and I'm like, oh, that is so cool. Like I've seen videos of like people just playing around with it, and it's not the same. Like it's not easy to show what you see when you're wearing it. so it's not the same experience. But even just seeing that, whatever they managed to show on screen versus what they actually see, it looks so cool, dude. And
Yeah.
being able to, in the future when it's a lot more compact, and you can carry around and not have to have like cables and stuff around you, and or that's gonna be crazy. Like when you're able to just put on some glasses, like normal like sunglasses, that don't weigh a ton or whatever. That's gonna be epic, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I think that mixed reality stuff.
For me, I'm patiently waiting for cybernetics. I'm patiently waiting, whether that's hands, new eyes, new ears, eardrums, just technological advances to.
So you get into like that whole cyberpunk kind of style, right?
Yeah, dude.
Augmented like appendages and stuff.
Yeah, like and really, and I'm not looking to have like swords on my fucking hands. It's really like, for those people that have like rheumatoid arthritis, and all of a sudden it's like you're not gonna have that feeling, or maybe you might. I mean, maybe with cybernetics in the future, there's like nerves and different things that send sensations to your brain to recreate feeling. Yeah. But you got rheumatoid arthritis, your hand is bothering you, and you can get a new one. Or you're blind and you want to see the world, and now you can have a new set of eyes. Or you're deaf and now you can have new hearing capabilities. I am patiently awaiting that for a world of disabilities to slowly dissipate, where everybody is just on the same playing field and everybody has the same chance regardless of what happens to you.
That's beautiful. No, I do think that's gonna be big, especially for like you were saying, like limbs. I think limbs would be a big one. Being able to walk, if you're in, tragically ended up in a wheelchair or whatever, and being able to walk again or see again or hear again and all that stuff, that must be so powerful. And I think it's well within reach. I think maybe not in the next 5 years, but give it like
it's coming,
another 15 or 20.
Yep,
it's coming for sure.
Absolutely.
And you're coming over next week when we talk about some other weird shit that's gonna spiral into
spiral masturbation and porn. Welcome.
Yeah, where my MTM's at, bro? Come on, man.
Oh shit! Drop your name in the comments. Drop all your personal shit in the comments. Let the world know who you are. Don't hide. Jesus Christ.
Hell yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on over, man. This was a real one.
Yep. And see y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye-bye. More